Acting Secretary of Homeland Security Kevin McAleenan is in El Paso today at one of the U.S. border facilities holding migrants. But thousands of other migrants are being held hundreds of miles from the border in little-known detention centers in Louisiana and Mississippi, some since last year. Joining me now is NBC's Morgan Radford, who has exclusive reporting uncovering this little-known policy. Morgan, tell us about these secret places.
Oh, that's right, Andrea. I mean, really, the fight over the border basically has a whole new frontier. It's the American Deep South. And they're trying to handle the overflow of immigrants along the border. So ICE has opened more than a dozen facilities in Louisiana and in Mississippi. Some were brought online, though, so quietly and so quickly that attorneys are calling them black holes, places where lawyers and families say that detainees can be unreachable for days and without prior notice that they're being moved. It's all part of a change that's placing detainees in remote rural areas about 600 miles from that southern border, where a lot of people don't even realize these detention centers exist.
Along the winding roads of the American Deep South, the immigration battle has a new front line.
So this is the facility where
this is the sign,
yeah. Stay.
This is Adams County Correctional Center in Mississippi, a private prison now contracted to Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
We are outside of one of the detention centers here in Mississippi. The men behind me are shouting in Spanish.
It's one of more than a dozen such facilities in Louisiana and Mississippi, now holding more than 8,000 ICE detainees, according to new data shared by ICE with NBC News. That number has almost quadrupled in just over a year, making it the largest population of ICE detainees now outside of Texas. Emily Trossel is one of just 8 attorneys in Louisiana who are able to represent adult detainees for free in immigration court. There are none in Mississippi. That's why she's driving across state lines to visit her client, detained just behind these walls.
So how long does it take you to go see your client?
This is going to take us about an hour and a half.
An hour and a half each way?
She and other lawyers have referred to the facilities as black holes, where they say detainees can be unreachable for days and detained for months, a claim that ICE disputes, saying in a statement to NBC News, any claim that ICE denies individuals access to legal counsel is false. Adding, ICE began using new facilities in Louisiana and Mississippi this year to house the increased number of persons encountered at the southern border. For family members like Katis, the wait is unbearable.
It's like you entered a cemetery, like you died in there.
Her brother is Emily's client. Once a doctor in Cuba, her brother says he fled political persecution and presented himself at the border in Texas last year. With no warning, he was moved to Louisiana and then Mississippi. He's been locked up for 10 months while appealing for asylum after ICE denied him parole.
Si pudieras hablar con un líder en nuestro gobierno, un líder federal, ¿qué diría usted? What would you say if you could speak to a government official?
Ahí tienen que chequear un poco más esos centros de migración, específicamente en Louisiana.
They need to check out these government centers, these ICE centers, especially Louisiana.
Llegan a este país y supuestamente es el país de la libertad.
You came looking for liberty because supposedly this is supposed to be the country of freedom. ¿Qué le diría? If you had a message for your brother, what would it be?
Que estoy luchando por él.
That you're fighting for him.
Y voy a seguir luchando por él hasta que se quede en este país.
And you're going to keep fighting for him until he's able to stay here.
A fight that's playing out by the thousands across the country, hundreds of miles away from the border.
So, Andrea, it's also really important to note the length of stay in these cases because the rate of detainees who are granted parole in this region has decreased from 75.5% to 1.5%, and that's since 2016, making it the lowest parole rate in any ICE region in the country. We also did reach out to all 3 of the private prison companies who run the majority of these detention centers down there, and they say they are complying with national detention standards and, Andrea, that they are treating their prisoners fairly.
Morgan, it's incredible. Thank you. Right here in our own southern states. It's similar to black sites, the black site prisons that the CIA used to run overseas.
That's how the attorneys describe them.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.